Hey, what's up everyone? James here. Hope all of you are having a fantastic day. Today we are back with Autocracy, covering 2 chapters. I know I said I'd be covering 3 chapters, but the ending of chapter 9 is so amazing, and I thought that's a perfect way to end a video. And you'll see what I mean when we get there, and I'm pretty confident that you'll agree. Plus, I thought ending Autocracy with a 3-chapter video would be awesome, and a better idea. But anyways, let's dive into chapter 8. Overthrown. So the chapter opens in Iacon at the Citadel with Zeta Prime and the Autobot Senate. One of the senators informs Zeta that his recklessness in Nyan has only strengthened Megatron and his supporters. Zeta tells the senator that Megatron and all of his Decepticons would be no match for his Omega Destructors. Another one of the senators tells Zeta that his arrogance will damn them all, and that besides Megatron, Orion Pax and his team are still unaccounted for and are a significant threat. Zeta snaps at the senator, saying that the traitor Orion has been crushed. He's no threat. Suddenly, the Citadel is under attack. Initially, Zeta doesn't believe it because he believes it'd be suicide for anyone to attempt this. But then when the Citadel receives another bombardment, he orders the Vampire cannons and Omega Destructors to be activated and for Ultra Magnus to come to him. Outside the Citadel, we see the combined might of Megatron and Orion's forces attacking. Hot Rod and Blitzwing are leading the attack on the Vampire tanks, trying to destroy the Omega Destructor's power source and keeping the bulk of the Citadel Autobot defense forces occupied. Bumblebee tells them that the assault teams are taking heavy fire from the turrets and need air support. Hot Rod informs him that they're already inbound. We then see Starscream and his fellow Seekers in all of their glory coming in for a strafing run. Starscream orders Skywarp to teleport, Thundercracker and Ramjet to take out the Vampire cannons. After they successfully take out the Citadel's turrets, Astrotrain flies over the Citadel roof so Megatron and Orion can airdrop in. Once they drop in, who is standing there waiting for them is Zeta Prime with his Vampire ribbon at his side. He says, "Megatron, Orion, this I did not expect. You could have stood at my side as masters of this world. Now you'll die at my hands, remembered as terrorists." When Megatron replies, "No, liberators," Zeta fires his Vampire weapon, striking Megatron. Orion yells no, steps into the Vampire's beam and rips the Vampire ribbon unit off of Zeta's arm. Zeta says, "Orion, you have some steel in you after all. What a waste." Orion's response is so badass. He replies, "With all due respect, sir, you're boring me already," and uppercuts Zeta. However, Zeta quickly responds by ripping Orion's arm off while saying, "Officer Pax, your service is concluded," and completely takes Orion out of the fight. Meanwhile, the combined forces of Megatron and Orion are still keeping the Autobot forces occupied. Broadside radios to Hot Rod that the Omega Destructors and an Autobot squad are closing in on him. Bumblebee sees this squad approach, and who's revealed to be leading this squad is Ultra Magnus, and alongside him are Cup and Springer. Ironhide steps to Magnus and asks, after all Zeta's done, is he going to stand with him? Ultra Magnus reveals that he's seen the evidence against Zeta Prime and says if this Prime is going to be brought down, now is the time. Suddenly, they're attacked by one of the Omega Destructors, and while they're firing at this Destructor, Cup informs them that the Destructor's weakness is its seam junction in its underbelly. Back within the Citadel, Megatron is beating the brakes off Zeta Prime while saying, "Not so tough without your Vampire weapons." At least Sentinel Prime wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. I love this because Megatron is showing respect for an old rival, and he is right. Sentinel Prime, who by the way is still my favorite looking Prime of them all, was no slouch. Back in Megatron's origin, he was on the front lines leading his fellow Autobots in the battle for Kaon, and went toe-to-toe with Megatron. Zeta grips Megatron's head and says, like this, "Your reign of terror is over, Megatron." Megatron replies, "No, it's only just begun," and shoots Zeta Prime in the head with his fusion arm cannon. Megatron stands victorious over Zeta's burning dead body. At the battlefront, Starscream tells Ironhide that Iacon's defense has been crushed and Prime's troops are in full retreat. But one Omega Destructor is left, giving them a problem. Ironhide says, "It sounds like it's time to call in the heavy gun." Starscream then orders Shockwave to concentrate full power on the last Destructor. Shockwave literally one-shots an Omega Destructor by himself. That is insane. Within the Citadel, as Orion rises to his feet, Ironhide radios in, informing him that they've completed their mission. Orion tells Ironhide to send in Ratchet with the engineering crew because he and Megatron are in bad shape. Megatron says that won't be necessary and shoots Orion in the back while saying, "You and your Autobots have served your purpose." While Orion's body falls into this deep cavern within the Citadel, Megatron's last words to him are, "Goodbye, Orion Pax." Megatron's reign has officially begun. From there, we go to Chapter 9, Transformation. Now, before we get into it, I want to let you know that I changed the arrangement of this chapter. Now, to avoid spoiling anything, that's all I'm gonna say, and I'll say what I did after the chapter is over. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. So the chapter opens at Iacon's Tryon Square. Megatron announces to the people of Cybertron that the Autocracy is broken, and he says, "The oppressive rule of the Primes is over. Now begins a new age of order and justice for all." After telling the people of Iacon that the Decepticons now control Iacon's datanet and defense grids, he declares that they are the law and will keep the peace. Megatron offers amnesty to the Autobots who wish to join the Decepticons in rebuilding their once great society, but those that don't will be dealt with. Just like in Megatron's origin, I like that Autocracy also is showing that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to Megatron. You guys see what I did there? I like that it shows that he isn't this straight up mustache twirling villain, you know, that he is smart and intelligent. In this instance right here, he's showing the people of Cybertron that he isn't like Zeta at all. He's giving them an opportunity to join him, even those that fought against him. At the Autobot safe house in Taurus City, Ultrix, Ultra Magnus, Bumblebee, and Ironhide are discussing what to do now that Orion's dead and that Megatron has taken over. Bumblebee is having a hard time believing it. Ultra Magnus mentions that most of the officers have gone to ground and they don't have enough soldiers to form a resistance. And Ironhide is determined to just go down fighting despite the odds against them. Bumblebee tells Ironhide that it's suicide and that they should get out of the sector and get some backup. Hot Rod enters the safe house, interrupting their conversation and telling them that there is no safety out there anymore and that the Decepticons will find them. Bumblebee kind of pulls a dick move here when he says to Hot Rod, maybe we should detonate the whole city. That'll take care of them, right? And Hot Rod replies, don't judge me, I did what I had to do, but maybe it's time to make a different choice. When Bumblebee assumes that Hot Rod means joining the Decepticons, Hot Rod says, Autobots, Decepticons, none of it matters now. My people are dead because of this war for control. The violence will never stop. Maybe it's time we woke up to the truth. Bumblebee believes that Megatron's amnesty is a trap, just a ploy to lure them in and take them all out, and suggests forming a resistance. All of a sudden, they hear a creak, and soon realize their safe house is compromised when the Decepticons burst their way into the safe house, saying you're all under arrest, but by all means try and resist. The Autobots do their best to fight back. As Ultra Magnus and Ironhide lay down suppressing fire, Ironhide orders Bumblebee to take the tunnel. Hot Rod and Bumblebee take the tunnel, but they find Ramjet and his fellow Decepticons lying in wait for them. The Autobots end up surrendering, and as they're about to be transported, Starscream stops Hot Rod, and he tells Hot Rod he knows how hard he fought for the system and knows what he sacrificed, that if he truly wants to avenge his people, he should join them. When Hot Rod asks what will happen to the other Autobots, Starscream says, that's up to Megatron, but I doubt it'll be pleasant. From there we go to far beneath Iacon in the undergrid, where Orion Pax lies, not dead, but broken. His spark hasn't yet gone out. Orion says in his inner monologue, I have failed. I was Orion Pax. Now I am nothing. Neural circuits nearly fried. I can't even register pain. All I can feel is a pull toward an energy source that's familiar, yet somehow elusive. Orion begins to crawl towards this energy source, and it leads him to discovering an ancient vault, once a part of the Citadel. Orion enters and sees the Matrix of Leadership. As Orion moves closer to the Matrix, he begins to hear a voice in his mind, so much like his but older and wiser, calling out to him across time, an echo of the future. This voice says, everything you've experienced, everything you are, has led you to this moment. Now reach out and take a hold of the flame. Suddenly, Orion is flooded with so many emotions, searing pain, fire, panic, and fear. Orion realizes everything he is feeling is the emotions, the sparks of the people of Cybertron. He can feel their pain, their grief, their loneliness. He can feel the bitterness of devastation and loss. his consciousness starts to expand and stretch out across Cybertron. New feelings start to flood his mind: courage, selflessness, and hope. These sparks are few, but they burn bright against the darkness. Orion realizes that the Matrix doesn't only represent leadership or creation, but the sparks of all Cybertronians. The Matrix enters Orion, firing arcs through his ravaged circuits, burning, purifying, infusing him with power. Orion says, the Decepticons believe we are a divided people, that only absolute control can unite us. That's the greatest deception of all. Within this matrix, all are one. In every moment, we stop to recognize something of ourselves and each other. Unity isn't some hoped-for event, it's a matter of perception. All these long millennia, we Autobots fought to uphold a crumbling system that forgot its most sacred truth, that freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Freedom from oppression and fear. I see that if our people are to survive, we Autobots must change what we've been fighting for, and that change must begin within me. So I will lay down my life and my identity for my people. Orion Pax is no more. I am Optimus Prime, and I have a world to set free. And that is the end of Transformers Autocracy Chapter 8 Overthrown and Chapter 9 Transformation. You guys cannot tell me that wasn't a great ending. So what I did with Chapter 9 Transformation was, it was going back and forth between Orion and the Autobots. So I decided to just go through with everything that was happening with the Autobots and then just end it with everything Orion, or now Optimus Prime. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Be ready, because we are going to end Autocracy with a banger with the last 3 chapters, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, have a fantastic day, take care, and always remember every day to transform and go beyond. Reach for the stars, my fellow Beyonders.